What's going on, guys, and welcome to a brand new playthrough. This is Cartagra, Affliction of the Soul. For those of you who don't know, Cartagra is kind of like a prelude to Karo no Shoujo. It takes place before it, and it was also made before it. It's kind of like the start of the Karo no Shoujo series, I guess. I held a poll that asked people if I should just go ahead and move on to Karo no Shoujo, the second episode, or if I should play Cartagra first, which Cartagra has some characters that show up in the second episode that, you know, you don't need to play Cartagra to know who the characters are, but it kind of does help. So I'll, you know, and also the story is arguably not really relevant. I mean, it is referenced in second episode, but it's not entirely relevant to it. But again, it's something that it kind of just helps just to play it beforehand. But more people voted for me to play Cartagra than to play the second episode. So we're gonna go through this first before we get to the second episode. I feel like less people have probably played through this game than the Karo no Shoujo series, actually. As I've said before, this has to do with Shugo and, motherfucker, I forgot her name. Kozuna, that was her name. God damn, I don't know how I could forget how I could forget her. She was a very minor character in Karo no Shoujo, but she's like the main heroine in this. Also, just kind of a side note, Cartagra I don't feel is nearly as depressing, and I mean, it's about as brutal as Karo no Shoujo, but I feel like overall it's not quite as depressing as Karo no Shoujo is. But anyways, that being said, let's get started with this. This is Cartagra. This will definitely be an interesting experience, to say the least. If any of you guys like Karo no Shoujo, you'll probably like this. I'm happy. Shoveling dirt and digging this pit brings me sublime bliss. Okay. Digging graves brings you happiness. With every scoop, with every scoop, with every scoop, with every scoop. With every scoop, with every scoop, with every scoop, with every scoop. Okay, I think you're a little bit crazy. They all connect me to you. Yeah, you're definitely crazy. With every scoop of dirt, irritating germs coat my fingers, my clothes, and my body. My skin's freezing, the air is frigid, and there's a girl groaning by my side. I wonder if she's still dreaming. Thank goodness. She wheezes and moans, but at least she appears to be having a great dream. That's, the implications of this are a little fucked up, just to say the very least. I used the shovel to push her body into the pit. There's a soft thud of flesh striking dirt. Did that hurt? I've got to bury her, and quickly. Ooh. I hear her soft whisper from beneath the dirt falling on her. Her voice is an impediment to my happiness. I swing the shovel down without hesitation. Bones shatter and flesh tears apart. The rich smell of blood fills my lungs. I stop my work and lay a hand on her cheek. Good, her face wasn't crushed too badly. I run my fingers along her cheek, eyes and lips. The feeling of warm blood. Suddenly, there's a cold sensation on the back of my hand. Oh. It's snowing, isn't it? It's kind of been snowing. Yeah, this game was made in 2004. That's, we're going back in time, alright. Yeah, I find it also very surprising they used an accordion in that song. I don't know, like, of many, like, musicians that still use accordions. Somehow it works, though. Like, I will say that. It kind of works for that song. But yeah, there's some Yuri overtones going on in that opening, too. But yeah, like I said, if this is definitely familiar territory, if we, you know, considering we've already played Kara no Shoujo, it's not, I feel like it is disturbing, but it never, I feel like it never really reaches the same level of, like, just really bizarre and fucked up as Kara no Shoujo, because the murders are carried out a little bit differently than in Kara no Shoujo. There aren't any girls being put into eggs and all this crazy shit. In this game, it's more straightforward murder, although it's still brutal. You know, the murders are still brutal and gruesome, but they're not really weird like, you know, like in Kara no Shoujo. But yeah, this game is definitely similar in tone, and Shugo is almost very similar in some ways, almost like identical to Tokisaka Reiji from the Kara no Shoujo. I mean, they're both basically, you know, I'm a detective type characters, so but anyways, let's get right into it. Bizarre serial murders in Ueno. I let out a sigh as I read the headline. Ugh. I suppose I wouldn't be on my way to Zushi if this hadn't happened. I scan over the article. The murders seem to be indiscriminate, the victims' bodies brutally chopped up. That makes the fourth victim in Ueno. The inflammatory tone of the article jolts me back to reality. It's another reminder that the war is over. A few years ago, an article like this definitely wouldn't have run uncensored. They'd say it would reduce the morale of the citizens. There's also some quite a few references to World War II in this. I guess it makes sense considering the time period, and you know, Japan was in the Axis powers, and Japan lost. So both this game and Kara no Shoujo have a lot to do with, like, the war and just the depression after the war, and I feel like it also serves to really, like, contribute quite a bit to the general dark tone and atmosphere of these games, and that, you know, everybody's kind of, you know, there's just this general overall depression and sadness after what happened in the events of World War II and all that, so everybody's, like, still trying to recover from what happened. I spot the line lead detective Arashima Kazuma in the article, and instantly it brings up memories of my former boss. I'd just seen him 2 days ago. Flashback. Instead of looking for a job after I quit the police force, I secluded myself in a room I had rented at a brothel that belonged to an old friend of mine. After several months of that lifestyle, Arashima-san paid me a visit. That's when it all began. Sorry for barging in like this, Shugo. Nah, you're welcome here anytime, Arashima-san. I'd always been awkward around others, but this guy was an exception. I'd worked with Arashima-san for nearly 10 years. We fought together in the war and both joined the police force after we were discharged from active duty. I was pretty glad to see him, as my day-to-day activities revolved around reading and not much else. However, bizarre murders? Yeah, the bizarre serial murder case going on in Ueno. The city's in a panic right now. Haven't you heard, Shugo? Sorry, but I don't really listen to the radio or read the papers much. I see. I suppose that's understandable, given your current lifestyle. Anyway, a lot of troublesome cases have cropped up since you quit the force. I've been pretty short-handed here. But this case is the real deal. 3 people have been butchered in less than a month. 3 people? Seriously? The corpses were discovered in an abnormal state. It's rare to see these kinds of bizarre murders in Japan. You look pretty worn out. You've got that right. It's been a while since I've had any proper shut-eye. He shrugged, the hint of a smile tugging at his lips. Anyway, could I ask a favor of you, since I'm so tied up at the moment? I'm assuming we're just going to accept. I don't really think I need to look at a guide for this, but just to be safe, let's go ahead and accept. I get you, but the thing is, I refrained from answering immediately. What's the matter, Shugo? Your compensation will be the same as usual. No, nothing was wrong per se. It was a request from a man I'd been indebted to for the last 10 years. There was no reason for me to refuse him at that point. Arashima-san had been sending work my way for a long while. For the most part, they were small, hassle-free jobs. I was sure this would be the same. I was also starting to get tired of spending all my days idling about inside the brothel. However, there was something else that bothered me. I'll take you up on that job. There is, however, one thing I'd like to ask you regarding those murders. Upon hearing that, the edges of his lips curled into a twisted grin. So, my man Takashiro Shugo has taken an interest in those bizarre murders, huh? I'd be happy to reappoint you any time. I have a shortage of talented detectives. I think this case would be perfect for you. Come on, stop joking around. I'm just curious. I've learned my lesson already. Images of what happened on the job 1 year ago surfaced in my mind. I shook my head to make them go away. You mentioned earlier that the corpses were abnormal. What exactly did you mean by that? Right. It's not exactly a pleasant topic of conversation, so I'll cut to the chase. Arashima-san continued on, his tone all business. First, it's just as the papers have reported. The corpses were dismembered beyond recognition. The tips of the fingers were carefully destroyed and the eyeballs gouged so deeply that the hollow of the wound nearly reached the brain. Ugh. Well, that is pretty fucking gross. Vital reactions were discovered in some of the wounds. That means... Yeah, long story short, the victims were tortured to death. That is pretty similar to what happened in Karno Shoujo, though. The victims were also tortured to death there, too. They were still alive while they were being chopped apart. The cause of death was hemorrhaging. The perp didn't aim to kill, but to injure. Judging from the wounds, they were rather persistent and merciless. That'd be enough to make a bizarre murder case with a twisted killer. But there's more? Yeah, there's one more thing. We've been instructed not to make this public yet, though. I suppose it's only a matter of time before people find out. Top secret. Got it. Arashima-san lowered his voice slightly. There was extensive damage between the abdomen and the genitals on the corpses, and the wounds in that area were quite distinctive. Why the hell? That's such a specific place to fucking wound somebody. I mean, again, at least they're not being stuffed into eggs, but it's still kind of like, it's still really weird. It's like, okay, who the fuck does that? And, well, I mean, who the fuck kills people anyway, but still. It's like, that's just kind of oddly specific. That's basically the rundown of the autopsy reports. What do you mean by distinctive? Well, according to forensics, it was almost as though they were torn apart by a sharp set of teeth. Yeah, obviously a monster did this. A beast. The train sways noisily and I'm jolted back to my senses. It's been 2 days since my talk with Arashima, and Ueno's homicidal maniac has taken a new victim. The newest corpse resembles the previous 3 in that a part of it was missing, with tooth marks left around the wound. So they were biting the victims? Ugh. Cannibals, perhaps? Ghouls? Which means that the madman is chopping him up and eating him. Yep. The silence of the lambs. A chill runs up my spine. Crazy bastard. I can understand why Arashima is so worried. I'd never seen anything so twisted, even during my military service in China. The press has started accusing the investigation team of neglecting their duties. They say the initial investigation was inefficient and that information is being released too slowly. At any rate, it's got nothing to do with me. Well, it will eventually. I've got to concentrate on the task at hand. I shake my head to clear away the terrible images and run my eyes across the documents I'd received from Arashima-san. It's a case involving the missing daughter of the Kazuki family. I'm to search for their runaway child, it seems. The person who originally requested this investigation was an old friend of Arashima-san's boss. It wasn't an offer he could refuse. I'm going to give you an offer you can't refuse. The documents only contain a bare-bones description of the case, meaning I'll need to get the details from the clients themselves. There might be some information that they want to keep away from prying eyes. This sort of thing is fairly common. Anyway, this will be a piece of cake compared to the bizarre murder case. I can see why Arashima-san entrusted it to me. I think you guys can probably assume that these two cases are in some ways going to become interlinked. That obviously this is this murder case, it's not like this has nothing to do with us. But the thing is, something about this just bugs me. Zushi. This place brings back painful memories from over 10 years ago. Flashback time. Ah, we're here. Or maybe not. Sometimes that indicates just the passage of time. Cartagra. Affliction of the soul. Your soul is rotten and dirty. In all honesty, though, I really like this music. I think that Karno Shoujo and Cartagra both have, like, really great soundtracks. Cartagra has just a great soundtrack, too. Really, really oddly calming in a way. Like, Karno Shoujo it kind of feels that way in some instances, but I don't know. Cartagra just feels like it almost feels like they put a little bit more effort into the soundtrack. It's also pretty different in that there's more of these like just like moving images. You don't really see a lot of that in Kara no Shoujo from what I remember. So the game has a little bit of a different feel to it also in comparison. Mithril. But the game also has just an overall different, a little bit of a different atmosphere. At least because like it seems like it's always snowing in Cartagra. In Kara no Shoujo, it's just kind of, well, the atmosphere it kind of changes depending on the situation, but Cartagra it just always feels like this constant just somberness, just because it's there's always just snow, and you see like the animated snow on the screen. Never really see any like animated images or anything in Kara no Shoujo, but I mean it's probably not too much effort to get that to happen. Just again, just an observation and somewhat of a comparison to Kara no Shoujo. Damn it. Is this really the right way? Why do people always have to build their houses in the middle of nowhere? Because it's spooky. The freezing wind whips up flurries of snow and blows down my neck. I pull up the collar of my kimono and stretch my scarf up to cover my mouth. Sheesh, I guess kimonos do have their limits. No matter how many layers I pack on, the wind just cuts right through the cloth. I don't care much for Western-style clothes, but I suppose I can't cling on to old traditions forever. I guess the cold has caused me to start rambling. No, that's not it. The name of the missing girl written on the documents. That's probably what set my heart all aflutter. Kazuki Yura. It's a very special name to me. I had evacuated to Zushi before the war started. It was here that I met this girl, and we eventually became romantically involved. We broke up when I went off to war, though I thought I'd never see her again, what with the battles and the insanity that ensued. I had tried to forget her, and now, here I am. This can't be mere coincidence. The name Kazuki Yura was written on the documents that Arashima-san had given to me. Disappeared. Her of all people? A detailed description of her case is missing from my files. The lack of information alone dredges up bad memories I've been trying to forget. My head throbs as I pass by the familiar scenery. I don't even notice her voice initially. Preoccupied with my sentimental thoughts, how uncharacteristic of me. I know who she is. Are you? It's a voice I had heard countless times 7 years ago. I lift up my face to take a look at her. Waifu. Waifu material right here. Yura? I'm her sister. Yeah, spoilers. Oh. Chapter 1. Mutilation. I forgot this game goes in chapters. I mean, the Kara no Shoujo goes in songs, whatever the hell that means. This game actually has chapters. Thanks for coming all the way out here. Going through all that snow must have been a nightmare, right? She leads me inside the mansion and dusts snow off me at the entryway. Not at all. Still half dazed, I'm led down a dimly lit corridor. Our house is really hard to find since it's way out in the middle of nowhere, right? That's probably why our visitors are always getting lost. Even if you're rich, I don't really see the point of having a huge plot of land if people are going to get lost. Plus, it's a huge problem when you invite your friends over. Right? Don't you think so too, sir? She's so cheerful and expressive. It makes me wonder how on earth I'd even mistake her for Yura. She's the complete opposite of her. Oh, I'm so sorry. I've just been babbling on and on without telling you my name. She bobs her head energetically and bows. I'm Kazuki Kozuna. Thanks for coming here about my sister. Sure, nice to meet you too. Kazuki Kozuna, huh? Come to think of it, Yura did mention having a twin sister. Is there something on my face? Kozuna looks up at me, puzzled by my gaze. Nah, it's nothing. Anyway, my job involves your sister, correct? Yes. Perhaps it's my imagination, but Kazuna's cheerful expression seems to cloud over a bit. My father would like to speak to you in greater detail. I'll show you to him. And she walks off. Pardon us. I'm shown into the living room of the Kazuki Manor. Or Kozuki. I keep saying Kazuki. This must be the man who requested the job. Kozuki Keichiro. Keiichiro? The second-born son to a venerable family, he built his company from the ground up when he was a young man and amassed a fortune working as a military supplier during the war. Quite the self-made man. It's sad that he made a lot of enemies for himself with his prideful nature and disdain for others. Have a seat. His tone is all arrogance. I guess the rumors weren't far from the truth. Pardon the intrusion. I bow and sit down on the sofa. Thank you for taking the time to come all the way out here. You're Takashiro-kun, right? Yeah, Takashiro Shugo. My name is Kozuki Keiichiro. This is my wife, Ryoko. She bows silently. She's quite gloomy, a stark contrast to her daughter Kozuna. And Kazuna's already introduced herself, right? Yes, she has. She's such a cheerful young lady, isn't she? I compliment the man on his daughter. I'm not like that at all. Kozuna blushes furiously and waves her hands around. She seems rather ill at ease. Pull yourself together, Kozuna. Don't act so undignified in front of our guest. Oh, I'm sorry. No, please don't worry about it. But let's get down to business, shall we? Inspector Arashima told me that your daughter has disappeared. That's correct. About that. According to Keiichiro, what happened was, Kazuki Yura was severely injured in an accident 10 years ago. Ever since then, she had been receiving medical treatment in her room. She almost never left her room and avoided the servants, as though she were trying to hide herself from the eyes of society. Then came the war 5 years ago. During the post-war confusion, Yura had slipped out of her room while nobody was watching. The Kozuki family had tried all available means to look for their daughter, but during that period, the search bore no fruit. But 5 years ago? That's quite a long time. Why continue the search now? That's because Father... Kozuna suddenly speaks up. I told you to shut the fuck up. Quiet. I will not be interrupted by women and children. Kozuna bites her lip, mortified. She's not exactly the prim and proper young lady that she initially seemed to be. I couldn't care a whit about my runaway daughter. Well, just come right out and say it, why don't you? However, this one has been quite stubborn. He glares at Kozuna. Recently, we had word that someone sighted my daughter in Ueno. There haven't been any promising leads for several years, and so Kozuna here got all excited and started raising a racket about searching for her again, and doing it properly this time. That's the general rundown of the situation. I see how it is now. So, Takashiro-kun, will you take on the search for my daughter Yura? It was a rather odd request compared to what I had initially expected. I would usually refuse this kind of job, despite it being an offer from Arashima-san. However, I'll do it, is my reply. I see. I'm grateful. Keiichiro nods thoughtfully, as though it were only natural for me to have accepted. He then continues. Then let's get into the details of your job, Takashiro-kun. Kozuna, leave now. But... We're just going to be talking about finances. There's no need for you to hear this.
But there's still...
Kozuna, could you stop interrupting us? Is Keiichiro gonna have to slap a bitch? Keiichiro's words reverberate coolly in the air.
Yes, Father.
Kozuna reluctantly assents and leaves the room. Keiichiro and his wife exchange a look and let out deep sighs. Anyway, Takashiro-kun, there's more to the story. It's something I want you to keep secret from Kozuna. Will you hear me out? There's more? I wonder what he's going to say. I don't want you to be offended by this, as it may sound kind of strange. He scrunches up his face in disgust. Right. You see, my daughter Yura is already dead. Shit. Well, that's a plot twist. So we're looking for a dead girl. Why are we doing this? Like, okay, if she's dead, why bother searching for her? I mean, all we're going to do is end up giving Kozuna false hope that she's still alive. Having left the Kozuki Manor, I'm on the train back to Tokyo.
Takashiro-san, thank you so much. I'm so touched that you're going out of your way to escort me back.
Kozuna, sitting on the seat across from me, eagerly expresses her gratitude. We're headed in the same direction. No need to thank me. I give her a half-hearted reply.
But, you know, Takashiro-san, I know this is rude of me to say, but you seem kind of grouchy.
Me? Grouchy? Nah, no way. I hastily alter my expression. I hadn't intended on letting it show.
Really? Perhaps Father said something strange to you after I left.
Well, she's oddly perceptive about these things. Bullseye. The girl is a lot more perceptive than she looks. Hey, we were thinking the same thing. After Kozuna had left the room, Keiichiro proceeded to explain the full details of my job to me. It's been making me a little depressed. I think it would make anyone depressed. In short, the search is a sham. It's fine as long as you can satisfy Kozuna. So basically just lie to her. A selfish, incomprehensible request. I probably would have refused on the spot if it wasn't a job from Arashima-san. There's no way I can reply to her question honestly, so I just try to wave it off. Nah, we're simply working out matters of payment.
Oh.
A period of awkward silence follows. Kozuna fidgets around and glances up at me. I can understand how she feels. She's probably uncomfortable being with an unsociable guy like me. Then again, I don't have much in common to talk about with a girl of her age. I sigh and stare out the window. Ugh. A world blanketed in snow whips by. There's no point in keeping silent like this. By the way, Kazuna-san. In preparation for tomorrow's investigation, I try asking her something that's been weighing on my mind this entire time. I heard you're acquainted with the person who spotted Yuro-san in Ueno.
Yep. They're one of my fans.
Huh? Fans, you say? Kazuna freezes momentarily.
It's not what you think.
What did she think we were thinking? Kazuna blushes and starts flailing about, all the while trying to play down what she just said. The girl can't seem to stay still.
They're nothing special, really. They're more like people here and there who cheer me on, even though I don't deserve it.
Wow, they cheer for you? Amazing. You're quite popular, huh?
No, it's not that. That's not it at all. You're totally getting the wrong idea, Takashiro-san. The cheering I'm talking about and the cheering you're thinking of are probably completely different things.
What does she think we're thinking of exactly? Right. What, we think she's like a stripper or something like that? Prostitute? I can't understand what she's saying at all. It'd be nice if she got her words in order before speaking.
Let's see. Right now I'm a stage actress in Tokyo. Oh, I should have said that first. You must think I'm some weirdo. So you agree? Oh my gosh, I'm all nervous because I'm in front of someone I just met. Everyone in my theater group says I'm super normal, I swear.
Please calm down, Kazuna-san. We were discussing the person who saw Yuro-san.
Oh, right. What's important is my sister. I'll calm myself down right away.
Kazuna huffs, puffs, and takes several deep breaths. Is she really going to be alright? Jesus Christ. I think she's going to explode from all the energy she has.
Let's see. I had just landed a big role at the Ueno Theater, and it happened after our production ended. The person in question has always been one of my supporters. On that day, he came backstage to say hello, and he told me, on his way to the theater, he spotted a girl that looked like me. He said that she was hurrying along a deserted road in Aomachi, trying to hide her face.
Oimachi, or was it Oimachi? Oimachi, Ueno. That's the nickname of a lawless area that starts behind Ueno Station and stretches over to Kanaeji. Kanaeji? Homeless people and hobos gathered and formed a slum district on land that was left undeveloped after the war. A lot of criminals and fugitives tend to find their way into that area due to the lack of law and order. Did he give away any specifics about Yuro-san's appearance?
Oh, I was so excited thinking my sister's alive and so close to me too, that I kind of forgot to ask.
Kazuna's shoulders slump. I see. It sounds like we'll need to have another chat with him then. After that, I'll go collect information in the slums. Luckily, I'm well known around Ueno. I make a mental checklist of what I need to do tomorrow.
Takashiro-san?
Kazuna twiddles her fingers, looking as though she has something more to say. I suppose it may be because I've opened up to her a bit, but Kazuna's become a lot more expressive. I have a favor I'd like to ask of you. You could almost call the way she's looking up at me cute, but I can't help but have a really, really bad feeling about this. And what would that be?
Well, I'd like for us to search for my sister together.
I knew it. I recall what Keiichiro said to me. I guess that also happens whenever there's flashbacks too. It's just like ellipsis, ellipsis, ellipsis. Kazuna might ask to participate in your investigation. That's just how she is. She never backs down when she's brought up an idea. Remember, this is just to satisfy Kazuna. When that time comes, don't refuse. She'll likely give up sooner if she participates in the search and is unable to find Yura herself. It won't help the investigation at all if Kazuna tags along. In fact, she'll probably just get in my way. Moreover, I'm going into the slums to investigate. Is this actually going to be a choice? I don't remember how many choices there are on this game, but I do know that it's kind of similar to Carno Shoujo, where you make the wrong choice and you're going to fuck up real bad. There's also that homicidal maniac causing trouble around Ueno. Bringing her along may put her in danger. However, I can't go against the wishes of my client. Honestly though, I'd rather not be forced to follow through with that arrogant man's plan. Alright, I'll be counting on your assistance. Well, we don't really have a choice in the matter.
I knew it. I knew you'd say no. You're probably thinking something like, don't tell me how to do my job, you stupid woman, right? But please let me join you. I really want to find my sister.
Bitch, did you not hear what we just fucking said? She grabs me firmly by the hand and looks into my eyes, dead serious. Come on, at least listen to what I'm saying. I already said that I'd appreciate your help.
Huh? You really mean it?
Yep.
Thank you so much, Takashiro-san. I'll try my very best not to get in your way.
She waved my arm around. Seriously, this girl can't give it a rest. But what about your work at the theater, Kozuna-san?
Oh, that won't be a problem. We just finished a big production, so I'll find my way to wrangle some time off. I'll try my best. Yep.
Kazuna's pretty fired up. You see why I like Kazuna the best out of, like, all the heroines in the Carno Shoujo franchise. She's just so, like, she's so energetic and, like, cheerful. It's just, it's hard not to like her. Well, I'll be counting on you. Could you come to a place in Ueno called the Yukishiro tomorrow afternoon? We'll meet up there. Oimachi is pretty close by. I quickly sketch a simple map and headed over to Kozuna.
Sure. Thank you very much.
I feel a twinge of pain in my heart as I watch Kozuna bow with such a serious expression on her face. You fucking asshole. You're just leading her on this whole time. In short, this search is a sham. Up. It may or may not be. I'll just say that without spoiling anything. The train pulls into Tokyo while we're still chatting away. It passes through Shinjuku and heads towards Ueno. I'm feeling somewhat sleepy, though I'm not sure whether it's due to the length of the journey or the rocking of the train.
Oh, Takashiro-san, I'm getting off the next stop, Kanda. I really appreciate your kindness today. I'm so happy we were able to talk.
Kazuna is still as cheerful as ever. No, the pleasure's all mine. Are you renting a place somewhere in Kanda?
Oh, no. I was taken away to my mother's home at an early age. I've been living there ever since.
Huh? Wait a second here. I'm not sure I understand this correctly. What do you mean your mother's home? Kazuna makes an awkward expression and searches for the right words. But the moment Kazuna is about to tell me. Oh, we're here. It's Kanda. An announcement is made saying that we've arrived in Kanda and will be stopping momentarily.
Oh, right. Sorry about cutting off our conversation halfway, Takashiro-san. I'll be taking off here.
Nah, I don't mind at all.
Okay. Well then, Takashiro-san, I'm looking forward to working with you in tomorrow's investigation.
After waving at me energetically, Kazuna disappears into the crowd. Oh, that was something. The train begins moving again. Now that the blabbermouth is gone, the train is enveloped in complete silence. I take a quick peek around, but there aren't very many passengers sharing the cabin with me. The sound of a hacking cough, the snoring of a drunk. Yes, a great time for me to lose myself in thought. But why now? I have some doubts as to why I've accepted the search for Yura, 5 years after she's disappeared. Is it guilt, or is it something else? At any rate, this task is nothing but a fool's errand. I watch the falling snow stream by my foggy window. Twilight. The city's wreathed in haze. Painful memories from 7 years past begin to surface inside my head. Ellipsis. Flashback. 7 years ago. In the tiny village I'd evacuated to, I met a girl at a bus stop near a farm road. Her eyes were swathed in bandages. Apparently, they were bandaged due to an accident she suffered several years prior. I ran into her on the way home from the town where she received treatment. It seemed that she had become separated from her chaperone. She was standing there all by herself. Unable to leave her alone, I took her by the hand, guided her to the bus, and took her home. Then, some shit went down. Huh?
I said, if it's alright with you, could you please tell me your name? Please, I'd like to properly express my gratitude.
No, please don't worry about it. Helping someone in need is the right thing to do after all.
But
the people here are just heartless, though. Nobody else even tried to help you, even though you were obviously in need of assistance. It's clear that you can't see with those bandages on you. On top of that, they all look at you strangely. Seriously, these people are all horrible. She then whispered in a voice so soft I could barely even hear.
That's because,
Come again? The main word has escaped me.
Oh, it's nothing. Nothing at all. But please, allow me to at least express my gratitude.
Well, if you put it that way. My name is Takashiro Shugo. I recently started living here under my relative's care. Yeah, I think we're going to get little bits and pieces of Shugo's past and his relation to this girl. I've arrived in Ueno. I walk through the twilight-veiled city towards Shinzoku. The streets are jam-packed with people today, like usual. The shops and stands lining the street are all bustling with shoppers. This familiar city with its unchanging scenery. In the midst of the crowd stands a single food cart. Lured by the savory aroma of sauce, I peer over the booth. Takoyaki, huh? Come to think of it, they're Hatsune's favorite food too. I may be an unreliable freeloader, but I should play the role of the doting older brother from time to time. Yeah, Hatsune from Carno Shoujo actually is in this game too. Alright, I'll take one order, old-timer. How much will it be? Oh man, this guy looks like he's about to keel over and die. Cooking away with an impudent look on his face, the old man silently points to a sign beside him. 10 for 10 yen. With that, he returns to his work. Oh, he's sociable. Come on, buddy. You're in the customer service business. At least be a little more friendly. Well, I guess his attitude doesn't have anything to do with how they taste. I think things over. Don't people say the more skilled the artisan, the less sociable they are? Okay, I'll take 2 orders. As I'm about to pull my wallet from my pocket, I notice a phrase written on the lower half of his sign. Our new specialty, a bestseller in Russia. Russian yaki? What the heck are those? The price is the same as takoyaki, 10 for 10 yen. There's even an illustrated sign with a cute bearded Russian guy yelling, Korosho! I sense murder in the air. I raise my head. The old man suddenly freezes and glares at me. God, his eyes are scary. These are the eyes of a mass murderer. We stare each other down in silence. What the heck is with this guy's attitude? Is there something about his new specialty he doesn't want people asking about? Pretend I didn't see it? Ask about them? I don't know, this might be an important choice for all I know. Well, it seems we're actually going to be asking about them. I would think we wouldn't ask about them, but apparently we will. And yes, I am looking at a guide for this, because if I don't, then... Oh, we will, like I said earlier, we will have a bad time. We will never get through this game. Sir, what are those Russian yaki things? I timidly voice my question. I got nothing to do with that. Some idiot over at the head office who doesn't know how things work down here just went and put it up. Huh? Ugh, it's an order from the top. All us underlings can do is shut up and obey, right? I'm sick and tired of this. Things were the same during the war. Man, nothing's changed. This country, its people, everyone's just a bunch of bloody idiots. In the end, it's always us, the dregs of society, who are left scrabbling for leftovers. The heck did this old guy suddenly get all talkative for? Perhaps I mentioned some past trauma I shouldn't have touched on. Russian yaki, eh? If you gotta have them, I don't mind grilling some up for you, but... You're gonna regret it, kid. Why do we get all fucking serious all of a sudden? We're just talking about fucking takoyaki. Calm down. From the way he says it, I really do get the feeling that I'm going to regret it if I choose them. Sorry, I'll stick with the regular takoyaki. Good. You made the right choice. Humans are better off just living normally. You'll understand once you get older. That Russian yaki, it changes people. It changes them in ways I can't even describe. After flashing me a grim smile, he gives me 4 extra takoyaki on the house. Perhaps he's a good guy after all. Even though he looked like he might kill people. Thanks for the business. I bid downtown farewell with the old man's gloomy voice at my back. Anyhow, what's the deal with those Russian yaki? That's the biggest mystery of this game. The Russian yaki. Yukishiro, the red light district. It's a famous establishment in the Ueno area. When night falls, the raucous laughter of the drunken patrons and moans of prostitutes fill the air. It buzzes with the atmosphere of a festival on the inside. After I'd quit the force, I had nowhere to go. Madame Mojaku pulled me out of the dirt and gave me a place to stay. I wasn't even particularly close with her. All she did was help me in several of my investigations during my time with the police. And yet she took me in without protest. I've been in her care for the past year, and this place has become my home. I recognize one of the girls standing outside pulling in customers. She notices me and says,
Oh, Shu-san, just getting home?
Yeah, my job briefing dragged on and on. My friend Rin puts on a sympathetic face.
You must be pretty worn out, huh?
Yeah, I'm gonna hop in the bath and then hit the hay.
Sounds like a great plan. I don't think there's anybody using it at this hour. But that's too bad. If I wasn't working, I'd do the way you're wearing this. You know, with a little this, that, and some tender lovin'.
Yep. Prostitutes. Hey, at least it's on the house. I don't have to pay for it. Rin giggles mischievously. What the heck's with those suggestive hand movements? That's prohibited, right? I'm not exactly a customer. Flashing a wry grin at Rin's teasing, I pass through the entryway.
Get with the time, Shu-san. Nobody cares about customers like that nowadays.
Really? Love affairs between prostitutes and others associated with the red light district used to be punished quite severely back in the olden days. I'll pass. Good luck tonight, Rin.
Okay.
Rin replies cheerfully and goes back to her work. I peek into the kitchen when I pass by. It resembles a battlefield. They're busy as hell since it's the weekend tomorrow. I guess I'll give up on dinner. I can't ask them to do something like that for a freeloader. I've still got these takoyaki I bought as a present for Hatsune. I'll just eat them if hunger strikes. I warily trudge up to my room, after ascending the stairs and rounding a few corners.
The hell are you doing? I'm sorry. I'll clean it up right away.
I hear a belligerent voice. It looks as though someone's dropped a serving platter. The girl in question is getting a verbal lashing by an enraged woman. Oh, it's Hatsune. Hatsune is a new arrival and too young to take on customers, so instead she does odd jobs like cleaning and serving food. She's had a strange crush on me ever since I came here on police work.
You really are a stupid girl, aren't you? Ugh. Look, you even stained my kimono. I don't give a shit about how useless you are, but haven't I told you a million times not to get in the way of my work? You don't remember? Is your brain just there for decoration? Do you even have one in there at all? I'm sorry. I was careless.
Hatsune apologizes over and over while cleaning up the broken dishes and food. The woman scolding Hatsune is named Otoha. She's a prostitute the same age as Rin.
You think that kind of excuse will fly? You're such a useless little brat. I just can't comprehend why Madame Ojaku cares about lazy slobs like you. I'm sorry.
Hatsune is at fault for dropping the platter, but Otoha is going way too far. It looks like she's just venting her other frustrations out on Hatsune. I can't let this slide. It's none of my business. I guess we can't let it slide. I don't know. Yeah. I guess we're gonna do that. Can't let this slide. I probably wouldn't either, honestly. Otoha, why don't you give it a rest? Hatsune has apologized already. Startled by my voice, Otoha turns to face me.
Takashiro-san, I was wondering who that was. Good lord, I'd rather not have you butting in, you good-for-nothing freeloader. This is Yukishiro business.
Aren't you going a bit too far, though? I feel sorry for Hatsune.
It's her job. Of course I'm going to be strict with her.
Otoha suddenly flares into a rage.
Feel sorry for her? What kind of bullshit is that? What do you intend to achieve by planting dreams in this little whore's head with your sympathy?
Oh, speak for yourself.
Listen up, Takashiro-san. We're not pretty little princesses, okay? We're whores. We work ourselves to the bone just to put food on our mouths.
Yeah, I'm sure you work real fucking hard. You work that pole real hard, alright?
Besides, I'm not saying it all for her sake. It's unfair of you just to waltz in here and call it bullying.
Well, that kind of what it was. But nonetheless.
Shugo-sama, it's alright.
Hatsune pipes up softly.
Of course I'm going to get scolded. It was my fault after all. Look, she even said it herself. Isn't it about time you headed back to your room, Takashiro-san? Frankly, you're hindering my work.
Hatsune hangs her head and lets out an endless stream of apologies. Okay, but before I go, I kneel down and start picking up fragments of tableware. At the very least, allow me to help you clean this up. Hatsune gasps softly. Hatsune, hand me a towel. We gotta wipe down the floor.
Sure.
The tableware clinks as we gather it up. We continue our cleanup work in silence.
Huh. Absolutely ridiculous. What is this, some kind of charity work, Takashiro-san? All I see is a pathetic little man groveling on the floor.
Otoha stalks off, all the while calling me names. I chuckle at her words. After all, she does have a point. Hatsune is looking over at me with tears glimmering in her eyes.
You're not pathetic at all, Shugo-sama.
Her voice is soft, but I can hear her loud and clear. Thanks. Hearing you say that makes me relieved, Hatsune. Oh, that reminds me. I bought you a present. Your favorite food is takoyaki, right? Come to my room afterward. We'll eat them together.
Oh, but I've got work.
I see. Yeah, it looks like you guys are pretty busy tonight. No time to be playing around, huh?
I'm sorry.
Nah, I don't mind. Don't overwork yourself, though. Make sure to get some rest if you're tired.
Okay, Shugo-sama.
Hatsune nods in agreement, her face gravely serious. I'm probably worrying too much about her, though she does tend to be overly serious at times. We've finished collecting the broken dishes onto the tray and wiping off the floor. This should do it. I'll just take these to the kitchen.
I'll do that.
Hatsune takes the tray from me. Okay, thanks.
Sure.
However, Hatsune stays rooted in place. She stares at me silently. It looks like she's vacillating about something. What's wrong, Hatsune?
Shugo-sama, thank you for speaking up on my behalf. It made me really happy.
After saying that, Hatsune flees, her face flushed bright crimson. Come on, slow down. You're going to end up dropping them again. The clamor of the party downstairs echoes around. It looks like the ladies' work won't be finished for a while. Well, time to head back to my room. The room provided to me is located deep within the bowels of Yokishiro's second story. It's pretty drab. It used to be a storage room apparently, but it's more than adequate for an unassuming freeloader like me. Man, I'm beat. I flop down onto the tatami, stretching out my exhausted limbs as far as they'll go. Fortunately, my room is big enough to accommodate that. Somebody must have lit a fire inside the antiquated stove. The room's warmth lulls me into a slumber. Lying down like this makes me realize that I'm much more exhausted than I had previously thought. I close my eyes, surrendering myself to my drowsiness. I didn't get a chance to relax the entire day. The case of the Kozuki family's missing daughter. I've got to make my rounds of Ueno starting tomorrow and search for Kozuki Yura. No, there's no need for that, I suppose. To begin with, Keiichiro, the person who hired me, doesn't even want Yura to be found. Oh fuck. Is somebody trying to murder us in our sleep? Somebody's entered my room. These obstructive footsteps, this impudent voice.
Welcome back, Shugo. Look at you, slumped over on the ground like that without even getting your futon out. Sloppy. I'll have you know that I abhor sloppiness. Oh, a present? Well done, Shugo. I shall accept your present gladly.
There's rustling as the package of takoyaki is opened, without my permission.
Anyway, life is short, and even if it wasn't, there's only a small amount of time left to a loser like you. At the very least, you should get your life in order and try not to loaf around. That's a piece of advice from me. How kind of me. You don't get it, Shugo? Was that too difficult to understand? My apologies. I'll explain it in a way that even you can understand. Okay, time is not objective, but rather a concept that should be treated subjectively. It conforms to the abilities of the person using.
Ugh! You're so annoying! I yell and cut her off mid-sentence. Oh, this girl. I fucking hate this girl. She's crazy. And, yeah, this is Shugo's sister. Yeah, this is Shugo's sister. And, she's only, like, referenced, I think, in Kara no Shoujo. She's never, like, shown. I think, the person in Kara no Shoujo... I was actually confused by this when I first played this, because I'm like, is that the same person that's the girl that does the autopsies in Kara no Shoujo, Nene? Or not Nene, but, the other girl, fuck. I keep forgetting these people's names. But yeah, her. I thought that she was like, this is the same person, but no, I think that's Shugo's cousin. This is Shugo's sister. And they're both crazy, and they both are obsessed with Shugo, so... Yeah, I would be afraid if I were him, too.
Hey, morning, Shugo.
Nana. Oh, this crazy girl's Takashiro Nana. To my absolute dismay, she's the youngest child of the Takashiro family, my little sister. And then there's your older sister, who is also obsessed with you. She shows up like this from time to time, blabbers on about whatever she wants, and then leaves. I wish she'd put herself in my shoes for once.
Long time no see. Rejoice, Shugo, for I am hale and hearty.
Yes, I can see that. Since I haven't seen her for a while, I had this glimmer of hope buried in my heart that she'd cut ties with me. But of all times for her to show up, why when I'm this tired? What the hell did you come here for? My tone comes out grouchy. Naturally, Nana doesn't pay it any heed.
Right, I came by this area because I had some business in Ueno, and I happened to remember that you were living in this brothel.
I couldn't just pass through without dropping in. Just remembering would have been sufficient.
Ah, you're so cold-hearted, Shugo. I'm one of the few relatives you have living in Tokyo. Shouldn't you want to see me once in a while?
Nana heaves a large sigh and continues on solemnly.
Besides, Shugo, I've been reflecting on how wonderful family is ever since I left home. Just thinking about relatives makes me feel all warm and fuzzy inside. But there's only one person in our family who can make me experience such heart-rending emotions. That's you, Shugo.
Huh?
I love you, Shugo.
Ugh! Leave! Push her out the window. She's sitting right by the window. Push her out. Nana then lifts up her skirt. Ugh! Why? No. I'm frozen stock still. God damn it, why don't you just kick her out, please?
What's wrong, Shugo? What's with that strange look?
Why wouldn't we give you a strange look? Nana asks me, the very picture of composure. Whoa, I'm the weird one here? Well, if that's the case, then don't get in the way of your beloved brother's rest. I'm exhausted from work today.
Shugo, that's your problem. It has nothing to do with me, nor do I care.
Whoa, hold up. Didn't you just tell me that you loved me? Come on, think about how I feel, will you? However, Nana ignores me and continues.
Love is a one-way street. Did Rilke say that? No. Was it Dazai? Or perhaps Ogori Mashitaro?
The hell if I know. Wait, it's definitely not that last guy.
I wonder if that murderer would understand my interpretation of love.
Huh? What are you talking about?
You've at least heard the rumors, correct?
Those bizarre serial murders that have created quite the stir in Ueno. It appears that the culprit enjoys the taste of human flesh. How do you know about that? Arashima-san had told me there was a gag order imposed.
Shugo, secrets can leak from all kinds of places. The more you try to hide something, the more people will want to know about it.
You know, I wouldn't be too surprised if our other sister isn't, like, leaking information to her. Because the older sister is also involved in the police force.
The murderer is a hot topic around Oimachi, where the corpses were discovered.
I guess she's right. During my time on the force, there were numerous times when information was leaked. No small wonder that it happened in a case like this, what with all the ruckus it's been raising around town. There are a lot of people involved. You can't stop people from talking.
Not bad, Shugo.
So you knew about our killer's tastes, huh?
I came all the way to Ueno because I'm interested in this guy.
Our killer's emotions, tidbits about the case. There's no way I'd let interesting stuff like that slip through my fingers. Interesting, you say. Nana licks her lips.
That's right. Cannibalism has been a serious taboo ever since humans formed societies. You could say it's something that's deeply ingrained in the human psyche. It's probably because the body rejects it, though I've never tried it, so I don't know firsthand.
I would not put it past you. Of course you don't. You'd have to be genuinely crazy to try something like that.
But he'd be able to easily overcome that taboo. I respect him in that single regard.
Oh, just like you're trying to overcome a certain taboo?
What's wrong, Shugo? Why do you have your arms wrapped around your head all distressed like?
Oh, nothing. I was just suddenly worried for your future.
Sometimes I just don't understand what comes out of your mouth, Shugo. You need to make a habit of speaking more logically.
It comes... See, this comes from a severe lack of self-awareness. Then why don't you make a habit of living with more common sense?
Well, back to the topic at hand. Most of the reasons for cannibalism stem from hunger. I've heard that ever since primitive times, humans have been an important source of protein.
Well, thanks for letting us know that. She's veritably overflowing with these shady-sounding facts.
Even in this modern era, instances of cannibalism occur occasionally, with hunger being the origin. It's pretty rough being driven to the verge of starvation. You experienced that yourself on the southern battlefront, right?
Do we really have to answer that? I guess we do have to answer that.
That's true, but there's no way I could have eaten another person. If I had done something like that, I would have lost what makes me human. What a delicate man you are, Shugo.
For some reason, Nana's smiling happily.
Delicate, but cowardly. What's the definition of human? It's different for everybody. I wouldn't discriminate against someone just for getting hungry and eating human flesh.
Really?
At any rate, that's not the only reason.
I guess you'd get along well with Buffalo Bill.
Up until a few decades ago, apparently a certain tribe in South America would consume the flesh of its enemies. It wasn't necessarily out of hatred. It was an action of praise and reverence from the strong members of the opposing tribe. They wanted to absorb their strength and gain new powers. They believed in those sorts of magical rituals.
Yeah, there was also tribes, I believe in, what was it, like Australia, like the Aborigines, I believe, in eating brains, and that eating brains gave them knowledge or something. I'm starting to feel queasy.
At any rate, humans require strong emotions to overcome taboos. Pure one-sided fanatical emotions solely to fulfill and stoke one's own desires. Those emotions are sometimes referred to as love. Nana continues speaking cheerfully about the bizarre murders. Shugo, the key to deciphering the murderer's tale is love.
Well, again, without spoiling much, I'll say that she's kinda right.
What do you think? He's quite the romantic. My kind of guy, right?
She's always meddled around and played detective in cases that occurred in our neighborhood.
You've got all the time in the world. Why don't you investigate his case with me?
Lately, she seems to have been refining the weird stuff that comes out of her mouth. I don't like where this is headed. You need to quit doing this, Nana. Nothing good will come of an amateur like you sticking your nose where it doesn't belong. Besides, the detective in charge of this case is Arashima-san. He'll nab the killer soon. He's got no time to deal with your meddling. He is formidable indeed. If that's the case, then I'd really better get going on my investigation. Come to think of it, for some reason, she respects Arashima-san. Well, it's a waste of time for me to be here if you're not interested. The murderer isn't going to just sit around, you know. Hey, Nana, wait. She ignores my flustered attempt to hold her back. Goodbye, Shugo. I'll drop by and hang out next time I'm in the area. Please don't. Nana leaves abruptly in the same way she entered my room. I swear, every single time she has to make a racket. I flop down once again onto the tatami and close my eyes. To add insult to injury, she's eaten all my takoyaki. Well, now I've got nothing to give Hatsune. Good job. Thanks, Nana. Now that I think about it, Nana is a teenage girl. Really now. It might be hard to believe, but the shocking truth is that she's about the same age as Hatsune. To think that she's wandering the streets searching for a serial killer. Damn it, Nana. She possesses an abnormally intuitive sense of perception, so I don't think she'll actually find herself in any real danger, but... No, that perceptiveness of hers is the real danger. Ugh, quit giving me extra work to do. Not only do I have to look for Yura and Ueno, but now I also have to keep my eye on Nana's actions. If she tries to meddle in the rest of the murder cases, I'll have to stop her at all costs. Though she's not the type to just sit there and listen obediently to what I have to say. I sigh. While lying there, I'm rendered immobile by a second onslaught of drowsiness. I'm going to get scolded by Hatsune tomorrow morning for not sleeping inside a futon, huh? I descend into slumber while those thoughts swirl inside my head. Ellipsis. Blank is starving. Blank's appetite has not been sated for several days now. At some point, Blank started seeing the people in the city in a different light, screening them unconsciously. Will these humans satisfy my purpose or not? That alone is Blank's standard. Blank Blank avoids the loud merchants with their bawdy voices, instead weaving back and forth within the crowd. The shifting shadows of the city are perfect places to hide. From one such nice hiding spot, Blank scans the streets with an upward glance. Blank's appetite is gradually becoming insuppressible. For now, I can endure it, but after a few more times, what will happen to my mind? Blank feels apprehension, and with it, a quiet sense of anticipation. I was looking for you. That cold voice jolts Blank back to reality. Blank looks up and sees a woman with dark eyes standing there. Who be that? It's that girl. I knew it. It's that family's daughter. She makes me sick. What a disgusting girl. The mark of her being possessed is clear to see. I wonder how much longer this will go on. Oh no. Is this a sex scene? I can feel her hot breath by my ear. There's a wicked grin on her blushing face. She rocks her hips and loses herself to pleasure. Yeah, there's some of these weird sex scenes going on in this game. Some of them are relevant, so I'll read a little bit of it, but yeah, it's... why? God, she looks more childish than womanly. Ugh. However, in stark contrast, her insides are definitely that of a mature woman. Well, thanks for sharing. If you keep doing that... Oh, this Shugo. Ow! She cuts me off by forcing her tongue into my mouth. Okay. This is getting weird. Ah, God. Okay. Why is this happening? Okay, what? I think this might be relevant. With the expression of rapture from orgasm still on her face, she wraps her fingers around my throat. This is some weird shit happening. She's into some weird shit, alright? This is some kinky stuff. So you're not taking me with you? Slowly. So slowly that it makes me dizzy. She does this with my... Okay. She does... Basically, she tries to strangle me while I'm still inside of her. Yeah, because I guess maybe this turns her on. I don't know. I don't want to question her sexual kinks. You're leaving me behind. Her fingers tighten around my throat. What are you... I can't say anymore. Unforgivable. If that's the case, then more. Steadily, her grip becomes stronger. A thin sound like a squeaky whistle escapes from my squashed airway. Don't you worry.
dizziness. I see your serene smile through my hazy vision. I'll be following right behind you. Ooh. Screams flood out from the recesses of my crushed throat.